It is a lovely Wednesday morning, and I don't have to make it up anymore. It truly is lovely, is it not?
Absolutely lovely.
See?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's nice. For those, obviously nobody can see this. I'm talking on the Bob Barker Price is Right microphone now. This is it. Remember that little tiny little microphone he was always on? That's what I'm talking on.
It sounds good, though, doesn't it?
Sounds pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, it sounds better than what we had.
I honestly couldn't tell. Just last week, I just remember it was a little squealy when I first started chatting.
Scratchy, squealy, so we fixed that.
Well, good.
So, got a question for you. This morning, there's a news story. I'll read this to you.
Okay.
There's an alert for drivers to be on the lookout for moose. Vermont Fish and Wildlife officials say the animals are more likely to be crossing roadways at this time of year, especially at dark or in their early morning. More moose are hit by motorists in the spring than any other time of the year. So, to that end, do most insurance policies cover impact with deer or moose or whatever?
So that's a great question. And the answer to that is yes, and the answer to that is also no. And here's why. It's dependent on the coverage that you have.
Okay.
So, impact with an animal. So let me go over we won't even talk about the liability because that's what protects you if you hit somebody else and damage property or injure somebody.
Okay.
So let's talk just about physical damage for your car, the quote-unquote full coverage everyone talks about. So what that is that's comprehensive and collision coverage. Those two components comprise physical damage. Collision is impact with property that damages your car. Impact with something that damages your car. So one would think, well, that would be where hitting an animal would come from. The answer to that is no. That comes out of comprehensive because comprehensive specifically says, well, it doesn't specifically say, but it does say, impact with animals. So if you hit, so here's the deal is that comprehensive covering fire, theft, vandalism, impact with animals, falling objects, glass breakage, and things like that.
If it's included in your policy. Otherwise.
Well, comprehensive will always cover impact with an animal. So you have to have selected comprehensive coverage. You can't, if you have a liability-only policy, bam, you whack an animal, no coverage because you don't have physical damage coverage in your car.
It seems like there were, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but is there an add-on for other things? I thought that there was not an add-on, but the endorsement. I thought that there was an endorsement for animals. I know there's an endorsement for windshield damage.
Yes and no and no and no is the answer to that one. So there's no endorsement for animals. Comprehensive is as long as you've got comprehensive, it's
so the only way you're going to get covered for hitting animals
comprehensive
is if you have comprehensive.
Here, let me give you a horrible example. So comprehensive is actually
I love horrible examples.
Good.
Go ahead.
Comprehensive is less for premium than collision. So many folks will have maybe a $0, $50, or a $100 deductible for comprehensive, and let's say a $250 or $500 deductible for collision. And believe it or not, comprehensive is still the lesser of the two because collision typically is a higher payout. So here you are, you're driving down the road and you see that lovely animal, whether it be a moose or deer, pop out in the road. You have a choice. Your choice is to hit the moose or swerve and hit a guardrail or a tree or another car.
Right.
This is the
What advice do you give here, Mark?
Hit the moose, because you most likely have a lesser deductible. Okay. That's what it's horrible, but I mean that's the way it really truly works.
But if you have collision, but you don't have comprehensive,
you
hit the guardrail.
In Vermont, you can have comprehensive on an auto policy without collision, but you cannot have collision without comprehensive.
Oh, so
yeah, somewhere back in the inner workings of insurance, they decided that would be a rule.
So the rule: hit the moose, and duck.
Definitely duck.
Yeah,
absolutely. Wear a helmet.
Yeah.
So that's
because a lot of moose strikes turn out badly for people. They shear off the top of the car.
Yeah.
So if you know you're going to hit the moose, lay down in the car seat.
Right. Do the best you can to
flip your seat back.
Prepare for impact because it's never going to be a good scenario. So, but yeah, certainly.
Except the one I told you about.
Right. Where slow motion got the hood.
The moose just slid up on the hood, destroyed the windshield, slid back off, walked into the woods.
Yep. That's amazing.
The moose was like, that was interesting.
What was that?
Yeah.
So real quick, you talked about add-on for glass. So glass also is part of comprehensive.
It is.
But it's subject to your deductible. Now, the endorsement that you may be thinking of, let's say I did go with a $100 deductible for comprehensive. So if I hit the moose, boom, I've got this damage to my car subject to a $100 deductible. All of a sudden, a rock kicks up, smashes my windshield. I have a $100 deductible to replace the glass. Well, there are some companies that offer endorsements or modifications in coverage that allow you to have a $0 glass deductible.
Oh, that's
That's the
maybe
one
that's
you're
what I'm
thinking
talking
about.
about. Yeah, very good.
So like Progressive, you can actually change it so you have a $0 deductible without an endorsement, and some other companies offer the endorsement.
So if people have these or other stupid questions for you, they can call you?
Absolutely.
What phone number is it?
748-5224. You can also check us out on Facebook at Barrett Insurance Agency. And, of course, our website, free, no obligation quote at
TheBarrettAgency.com.
And before we go, I just want to say, please remember to spay and neuter your pets. You know, kind of like the whole Bob Barker thing here with the microphone. Wasn't that what he always said at the end of The Price is Right?
Please remember. Thank you very much. We'll have another
Little public service
All
announcement.
right, I'll get another mic next week.